Hello everyone, this is Sean Iverson from PickleballSignUpHub. Today I'm going to show you how to enter match scores into PickleballSignUpHub. This is something you would do to enter scores into either a club rating event or a ladder league event. But before I show you how to do that, let me just show you that within SignUpHub you have the ability to store documents, and what I'm going to show you specifically are some score sheets that we use at our club. So if you pop over into the admin area and go down into setup, you will see a program called the Document Manager. And the Document Manager allows you to upload documents and create folders where club administrators can, along with club hosts, actually can view documents. Club administrators can upload and delete, whereas club hosts can only view. So if we just take a look at what we have here, I've uploaded some score sheets, and so this is what our club uses to record round robin scores. So typically in our rating sessions, or ladder league for that matter, we will have either a 4 or 5 player round robin, depending on the numbers. And this is what a 4-player round robin sheet looks like, where you would enter the names of each player on the court, player 1 through 4, or 5 if it's a 5-player round robin. And then beside each game, you would enter the score and then circle the team that won. So if team 1 and 2 won 11-4, you would circle 1 and 2 and write down 11-4, and so on and so forth. This is an example of a 5-player round robin sheet, and this is what we most commonly have at our club. But again, all the players just write down their names and then write down their scores and circle the team that won. And then the club host, who is responsible for distributing the score sheets before the session, would collect them after the session and then pass those off to whoever is going to do the entry of the scores. That would typically be done by the club host themselves. They can do it immediately after the event, or kind of while the event is happening as courts finish their play, or they can take the sheets home and complete the entry after. Or you can designate 1 or 2 people in the club that have that specific assignment to enter the scores. So for my demonstration purposes today, I am going to work with an event, a club rating session event that happened on April 1st. And so if we go into that event, which is now closed, meaning that it's already happened, we can see that it is a club rating session, that there were 70 people in it. 3 people didn't get in, unfortunately. But that's what we're going to enter the scores into. So if we pop over into the club admin area, under frequently used, one of the options is called event match scores. So if you click that, you will see here a list of all of the sessions, all the events that have had scores entered against them. In prep for this video, I already entered 1 score for the top court for this event. You can see there were 5 players in it and who they were. If we want to go and view or edit the scores, we can just click the pencil there. But I'm going to go and create a new set of scores for court number 2. So I need to first of all go and find the April 1st club rating session. So here it is, 70 people signed up. Okay, and the system will list everybody based on club rating order, assuming that's how you're going to organize your courts. And it will detect who has already had their scores entered and not show them in this list. So the top 5 people for which I already entered the scores are not shown in this list because their scores are already entered. So I would simply go and choose, say the next court 2 only had 4 people. I would just select the next 4 and then go down to the bottom here and choose enter games for the selected group. And then I get any number of places where I can enter games, and in each drop down under the player I will see just those 4 people that I chose and indicated that were on this particular court. So I know that in a court of 4 people there's going to be 3 round robin games. So I'm just going to create 3 new game lines and just quickly pump some teams in here. Let's just put Mary Lou with everybody and then try to figure out who their teams would be. So Mary Lou and Patricia are together, so Tara and Yoko would be there. Mary Lou and Tara together would be Patricia and Yoko. And then Mary Lou and Yoko would be Patricia and Tara. So those are my teams. And let's just say in this particular example, Mary Lou, who was the top ranked player, actually I don't know that. It's listed alphabetically, not in ranking order in here, but let's just say that Mary Lou won all of her games, so she got to 11 and all of the other teams just didn't quite get there. And then I would just simply click save. But before I do that, I'm just going to simulate what happens if I make a mistake and say I accidentally say Yoko is playing against Yoko here and try to save it. It's actually going to balk on that, and it's going to tell me that there's duplicate players in player 3. It's also going to tell me how many occurrences of each player. So it will make sure that you have entered, a valid round robin where everybody plays everybody. Everybody plays the same number of games, and nobody is listed twice in any given game. So that's kind of nice, just to help prevent errors from happening when you're saving stuff. So I think that's as it should be. We will save that, and boom. So now if we go back into event match scores again, we can see that now court 1 has these 5 players, court 2 has those 4 players. That is awesome. Again, if I want to go and edit anything, I can just click the edit, and then I can fix the scores around or change the teams, whatever I need to do, save it. And the instant I hit save, the rating calculation in this case is recalculated. If it was a ladder league, the ladder league would be recalculated. But now we can pop back over into the event page here. Now we can actually click on these 2 tabs at the top, either ratings earned or game scores. So let's have a look at the game scores first, because that represents what we entered. Okay, so you can see the scores for the top court of 5 players in the round robin, and also the next court 4-player round robin, and you can see here Mary Lou won all of her games, and these are the scores. And that's great, but then we can come back over here and see how their ratings were impacted by the results of the games. And so we can see here that if we look at court 2, that Mary Lou won all of her games, which we know. She went 3-0, and then the rating algorithm that we're using here is actually based on net wins, and net wins is the number of wins minus the number of losses. Okay, so 3 wins minus 0 losses gives you 3 net wins, and our current algorithm, which is configurable, will give you a 0.03 points for every net win. Okay, so 0.03 times 3 net wins gives you a 0.09. And the algorithm will never move you down because we find that discourages people from coming. You can only ever go up in rating by coming to a session, which we find it really entices people to come. But anyways, on this particular court, Mary was the only one that had positive net wins. The rest had less than that, no net wins, and so they didn't move. On our top court, we actually had Ben and Alan here go 3-1. So they have 3 minus 1, or 2 net wins, and they were given 0.03 times 2, which is a 0.06. So they both went up by 0.06. The remaining 3 players did not move at all. Okay, so they went 1 and 3, 2 and 2, and 1 and 3. They didn't move. Now, this particular algorithm, as I said, is based on net wins, and we don't punish anybody. We don't move anybody down in rating if they don't have any net wins. But it still doesn't mean that your ranking won't go down. Of course, if other people's ratings pass you, then you will go down in ranking. So the rating never goes down. The ranking can go up or down depending on what others around you do and what, of course, you yourself do. But I will make another video on club rating sessions and the particular algorithm that we use. But the important thing is that people can go into their phones or their computers or tablets and they can quickly see what happened on any given ratings day. They can see what happened to themselves, they can see what happened to others, and they can see what happened to the ratings of people around them. So let me just, at the very end here, flip over into my Chilliwack Pickleball Club here. Oops. And if we go and look at the last club play event, that was actually 6:30 on Tuesday. We can see that there are 55 people in that event. And if we go and look at that, we can go and see the ratings earned, and you can see all of the games, all the results. Okay, and then look at the actual game scores. There's all of that. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like when there's many courts involved. And then we can go and look at the members and drill down. So if I find myself, I can see my current club rating, I can drill down, and I can see all of the events that I've been in and all of the results of every event. And then I can click into each event and see the scores for that event. So over time you develop this really nice history of your club play record, and then you can see how it's changed over time. Yeah, and so maybe the last thing I'll just say is that, you know, you'll have to decide at the club level whether to establish a club rating, whether to use ladder leagues, and those are the two scenarios, like I said at the beginning, where you would enter the scores. And then the nice thing about having a club rating is that we use that club ranking to determine the starting point of all of our events, whether it's a club rating session or not, whether, you know, it could just be a fun session where it's a social, or it's a mixer. We will, even though you're not keeping scores in those events, we will actually use your rating and your ranking to determine what court you're on, which is really nice. Whether you stay there at that court the entire time or not, that's up to you and your club. But what we do is we will use that rating as a starting point and then go from there. So, for example, if I go into my open events, I'm scheduled to play tomorrow in a mixer. A mixer for us is 2 courts combined, so it'll be 8, 9, or 10 people on 2 courts. So if I go and look at tomorrow's people that have signed up, we can see that I'm number 2 here. But the important part is that in a mixer, I know that there's going to be 8, 9, or 10 people. And so I have a very good idea of who I'm going to be playing tomorrow, which is kind of nice to know in advance. And by putting everybody in courts based on their club rating, you're guaranteed as much as possible to have really good games, competitive games, because everybody is very similarly skilled, which is super nice. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover today. And until next time, take care.